Hello, Tallahassee. It is Thursday, April 18th. Welcome to FSU Weather. I'm meteorologist Jay Karstens.
And I'm student meteorologist Michael Annan.
And the big story, obviously, tonight is the threat for overnight and tomorrow morning severe weather in our area. And what we're going to do before breaking everything down the rest of the show is outline some of what has already happened, as well as to tell you how you can stay alerted. So we'll start off with what's happened already.
Yeah, we've already had multiple tornado warnings and watches in effect in Louisiana and Mississippi. One just moved to Jackson, Mississippi, not even an hour ago.
Yeah, a confirmed touchdown in Raymond, Mississippi, just to the west of Jackson, right in the heart of the suburbs there in that city. And that threat is going to be shifting eastward as we go through the rest of the night. A new tornado watch was issued just recently, including Escambia, Okaloosa, and Santa Rosa counties. So going out to Destin, Pensacola area, a little bit to the west of us, till 11 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, and it also includes South Alabama and then portions of South Central Alabama, just south and west of Montgomery.
So for the rest of the night here, if you have a NOAA weather radio, obviously get that ready to go into the overnight hours and tomorrow morning. And also, if you have a smartphone, be sure to turn on your wireless emergency alerts. I have an iPhone. Michael's got an Android.
Yeah.
The way to get there, you'll go into your settings tab. You'll click on notifications if you have an iPhone. Scroll all the way down to the bottom until you see emergency alerts, and make sure you have that turned on.
Yeah, and then for an Android, you go all the way to the top. You have connections, and then more connection settings, you'll see emergency alerts. And then there's a little 3-dot button all the way on the right-hand side, upper right-hand corner. Click on that, and then you should turn it on. And you can actually do it once every 15 minutes, every 20 minutes, or every 10 minutes if you want to.
Awesome information. So be sure to check that out and get that turned on as soon as you get the chance. Let's start breaking down what to expect tonight with Parker out at the wall.
Thanks, Jake. So yeah, this temperature right here, 80 degrees, is at 6 o'clock right now. This is not later in the show. This is what's happening as we're doing the show right now. So mostly cloudy conditions throughout the day for Thursday. And then if we look at the satellite and radar, there's not a cloud in the sky. But if you look off towards the west, we do see those tornado watches that Jake was actually talking about earlier on their desk. Those are going to be tracking their way eastward as we're moving to the overnight hours and into the AM hours. There's that squall line for you. And then Friday morning, 69 degrees with thunderstorms still in the area. Winds out of the south-southeast at 10 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we're going to be capping off at 72 degrees with those AM storms still in the area and with winds out of the west at 17 miles per hour. Here are our headlines for the show tonight. Severe possibility tonight and into the morning hours. And we have an interview with the National Weather Service. And there's that Easter forecast for you this upcoming Sunday. I'm actually going to send things over to the wall with Sammy.
All right, thank you so much, Parker. So we're currently looking at the temperatures throughout the day. You could start to see those temperatures going down, especially in that Louisiana area. They've had lots of rain pass through, and this is a very active map too. When we are looking at that radar. Now, temperatures across the board, you can still see that we are still in the 80s, primarily all of Florida, even extending to 88 in Orlando. As far as Alabama, we're looking at that 80-degree mark as well, but as you move further west, you can see 61 for Jackson, Mississippi, and 76 over in New Orleans. Now, our dew points are still pretty high along the coast. Looking at that almost 70-degree mark, it's feeling very humid outside, even into Tallahassee too, with that 62. It's very moist outside, but as we go further west, you can see where that dry brown is, and that's coming with that cold front that will be moving through. Now, our winds, you can see lots of convergence, and where those winds are actually picking up. Here in Tallahassee, it is coming out of the south, 15 miles per hour, primarily all of the south through the southeast, but you can see that counterclockwise rotation where that storm is starting to move through. Now, the temperature changed throughout the last 24 hours. Look at these temperatures, minus 16 for Jackson, Mississippi. Here, we haven't changed too much as far as temperature. I mean, look at that, 0. But when that front does pass through, our temperature is going to drastically change. Now, the big storm is starting to make its way through, starting to cross in that Alabama region. We're seeing severe thunderstorms making its way through. We are even expecting this to start to come through overnight and into Tallahassee by early morning hours. We could even see a threat of a tornado with this storm outlook. We are in that enhanced region for today, but as we look into tomorrow, that will extend further into Florida. That is a level 3 out of 5 on the storm outlook, so expect severe thunderstorms going into tonight's forecast. 69 degrees, that rain will start to move through, and some thunder overnight and into the early morning hours. 75 over in Tampa and 77 for Miami. Tomorrow's forecast, a high of 72 in Tallahassee and 62 over in Montgomery. Now I'm going to hand things off to Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Sammy. Let's take a look at some positive news for just a few minutes, honestly. 82 degrees was our high today. Very nice day outside. Another warm one out there with a mix of sun and clouds. 80 is our average for this time of year, so a little bit above the average for both our low and our high. So really nice day overall. And satellite and radar shows you how great of a day it was. Mostly clear skies. But if you look at the left side corner back towards the west, Mariana and Dothan, you can see the clouds already increasing ahead of this pretty hefty squall line associated with this cold front in the center part of the country. You can see that spin out towards Arkansas and southern Missouri with a very strong line of storm just about to move into central and western Alabama. And we do have that tornado watch in effect for central and southern Alabama and the 3 counties on the western side of the Florida Panhandle, with some tornado warnings actually in Mississippi. This is what we have to watch to going into tonight, and especially around sunrise for our neck of the woods going into tomorrow morning. But again, it's a very nice day right now. 80 degrees here in Tallahassee under a mix of sun and clouds, 81 in Quincy with mostly sunny skies, and 79 is one of the cool spots up in Georgia at Thomasville with mostly cloudy skies. So a very nice day overall. But the dew points are already increasing with that southerly flow. It's a little bit breezy out there this morning. I experienced that while getting some lunch around noontime. And you can see with those southerly winds, the moisture is increasing down towards Apalachicola with that dew point of 66. And this is going to continue to increase the moisture and the instability as we go into the overnight hours and provide, honestly, more fuel for those storms, even though we're expecting them in the morning when we have the least amount of instability. And those winds will drive that moisture even further. 13 in Tallahassee, and it is breezy. 12 in Quincy and 15 in Bainbridge. The Futurecast does show you mostly clear skies for the first part of the night up towards midnight, but the clouds will increase once we go past midnight and especially into the late overnight hours in 4 or 5 a.m. You start to notice how that squall line approaches and affect places like Destin and Panama City. For us, the timing of these storms around 7:30 for the western sides of our region, with Tallahassee experiencing more around 9-ish. We're going to refine the timing as we go further into the overnight hours, so stay tuned to our social media for updates. And then as we go into Friday afternoon, might still be some lingering clouds with a few showers as the upper level low moves through, but honestly the afternoon's looking better than the morning. The 7-day forecast shows you once we get through Friday, honestly perfect for Easter with a high of 73 degrees on Saturday, warming up to 80 on Sunday. Now let's actually show you an interview that AJ did with the National Weather Service.
Good evening, I'm AJ Willie here in the National Weather Service office up here in Tallahassee with lead forecaster Lauren Nash. And as we get into these severe storms that are looking to move into our area tonight, basically I know with all these computers in the background here, you've got tons of information coming in. So how do you convey all of that information to the general public to let them know exactly what they need to know?
Yeah, so like you said, we get a bunch of information in here in our systems, all different kind of models, all kinds of information, and we're basically taking all of that and trying to put it in a package that's easy to understand. And that comes in the forms of some PDF slides or PowerPoint slides that we deliver to partners. We talk to the media about it. We do some social media graphics, really break it down into what the public can expect to see, what hazards, what risk, what impacts, and also the timing. That's very important to people. Yeah. So we take all of these models, many of which have different times. You know, we analyze them, interpret them, and then we put them into one sort of graphic, one sort of PowerPoint to discuss those risks.
Yeah, and I know that the Storm Prediction Center over in Norman, Oklahoma, they put out their risks every 12 hours. So how much, once we get closer to the storm actually moving into our area, how much are you guys in contact with them And do they kind of alleviate the duties over to you guys once the storm begins?
Yeah, so we do talk to the Storm Prediction Center. When it comes to the outlooks, we typically provide input. We can look at some pre-issued graphics to see how we feel about them, but generally they do most of the outlook. When it comes to then issuing watches, so severe thunderstorm or tornado watches, they will typically propose an area, or we'll talk with them, we'll chat with them, we'll call them, we'll get on a conference call with the proposed watch, we talk with our neighboring offices, we talk with them, we issue the watch. So when it comes down to that phase, we are much more involved, and typically it's deferred more to our expertise. Then when we get down to issuing tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, that's all the local office.
Yeah, and so then, like tomorrow, after the storm will have passed through, what will be your guys' procedures after the storm is
After
done?
the storm, we're going to start making sure we look for some storm reports. So trees down, any kind of damage. Obviously, if we think that any of the damage was tornadic, we would then start to plan to go do the tornado surveys to see if it was a tornado, if it was straight line winds, and what strength that tornado would be. So it would be kind of, just picking up the pieces, making sure the rest of the watches are canceled out, giving the all clear to everybody, and really taking a look then at if we have any tornadoes in the area.
Yeah, thank you. That was some very insightful information. I'm student meteorologist AJ Willie here in the National Weather Service Forecasting Office in Tallahassee with lead forecaster Lauren Nash. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, that's some really important information there. We really thank our local National Weather Service here, right upstairs here in the Love Building here in Tallahassee. So very important information as we're going into a severe weather threat. Looking out at the national picture, though, 72 in Dallas-Fort Worth, 60s out west. We actually have an area of high pressure. So really the thing still in the show is this cold front draped across it's going to be up into the Midwest, portions of Ohio, Indiana, that stretches down into the this is going to be the Mississippi River Valley, and even into the even as well going into the deep south there, 76. They're starting to have some shower and thunderstorm activity. Out west, really dry, low dew point there in Denver of only 22, 40 out in Salt Lake City. That high pressure really contributing to that. But then as we go back to the east, we really see where the moisture is. 71-degree dew point in New Orleans, 62 over in Tallahassee. And it's really these southerly winds helping usher in all that moisture and that warm air off the Gulf of Mexico. 24 mile per hour wind there in New Orleans, 9 there in Memphis. Really brisk southerly winds right ahead of this cold front. You can see right there just back off to the west of New Orleans is where that cold front and those storms are fired up. And they're really getting a lot of that moisture. That moisture is coming right up off the Gulf of Mexico into Mississippi there, portions of Arkansas, and now Alabama. Zooming into that, well, you want to really appreciate this big picture because the actual low is up here around Paducah. And then if we see that extending down, the line extends back through Mississippi down toward New Orleans. A really pronounced line of shower and thunderstorms, shower and thunderstorm activity there. I-59 is what we're looking at right now from Meridian, Mississippi, back down toward Laurel and Hattiesburg, Mississippi, towards Slidell, Louisiana. Storms are really continuing to be fired up as they press off to the east. We've had tornado warnings associated with this line of shower and thunderstorm activity, including around the Jackson area. But that has actually moved off to the north and east into portions around the Columbus, Mississippi area. And then even associated with the line, we see a barrage of severe warnings extending back to the south and west. We could expect 60 mile per hour winds with that. Enhanced risk portions of Alabama into Mississippi and even for tonight, and as we have that risk of the tornadoes, damaging winds, even the slight risk here in Tallahassee as we start to see that off to the east there. And then for tomorrow, notice that Tallahassee is right there. The orange is representing the enhanced risk, and even places like Jacksonville, Savannah, back up toward Wilmington, North Carolina, all in that enhanced risk there. So we're really going to watch that area. Very dire situation. Definitely stick to your local weather for this event here. 57 down New Orleans, 48 over. Conditions back out to the west. And then for tomorrow, like I said, the calm high pressure back out west, but then it's really going to be that cold front and those rainy conditions as we start to look back into the east. But now I'm going to hand things off to Evan. We're going to take a look around Florida.
Thank you very much, Colby. And for right now, Florida is looking very beautiful as of this moment right now. No rain really to be worried about yet, as we notice really the clear skies in our area currently. Currently cloudy way over in Mississippi and in Louisiana, but here in Florida, not a cloud to be seen for now. As we look, the temperature's 85 over in Tampa, 88 up in Orlando, even a crisp, cool, nice 81 in Jacksonville right now. As we head into really the temperatures more closely, 82 down in West Palm Beach, We got 83 down in Miami, and we got 84 down there in Key West. But notice still sunny for right now, as we'll keep that in notice. Dew point's very muggy out. That front definitely has not passed by yet. 70 up in West Palm Beach, 69 in Tampa, 69 even in Orlando. We got a 62 up in the Tallahassee region right now. As we notice, this giant front all the way up into the New Orleans area, up into Jackson, up in the area. It's going to cross over slowly over into Alabama. Definitely not a fast-moving storm for now, but as we see for the Florida itself, not too much activity. As we'll get down into the Miami area, though, where we do have a couple showers heading into the area. Nothing too severe, though, for our area. As you see, Miami and Fort Myers definitely also getting a little bit of some crisp, cool, little tiny drizzle rain showers. But for tomorrow, expect that really to continue in throughout the day. 84 up in West Palm Beach, 85 in Miami, 85 in Homestead, but all of them supposed to expect those little tiny rain showers for tomorrow. As we look up towards Jacksonville, not really a cloud anywhere to be seen as well. We do have a little bit of activity out to the right of our area, but nothing too much activity along I-95 or anything like that, or even I-75. As we look to our temperature tomorrow, 83 degrees up into our area. Palm Coast could get, and if we see those showers really start to appear throughout these areas as that front starts to come in to the Jacksonville, St. Augustine area. As we look to the other side, we see the front really quickly moving into our area into the night, and we see really heading into tomorrow. Even though it shows sunny for Pensacola, not really. It will get rain definitely tonight before tomorrow happens. And as we head to tonight's forecast, 69 up in Tallahassee with that rain chances. And for tomorrow, as we look, 72 up in the tie for Tallahassee, 83, but expect those rain chances to severely quicken for definitely tomorrow as we head over to Parker with the look of our local.
Yeah, thanks, Evan. So again, this is current conditions right here, 80 degrees in the capital of Tallahassee. Winds out of the south at 15 miles per hour with mostly cloudy conditions in the viewing area. So if we zoom in towards the Big Bend region, we have Perry over at 81, Tallahassee at 80, and Apalachicola down there. A few clouds in the area over at 75 degrees. The current dew points, though, Tallahassee, we're sitting at 62. We can expect these to spike up tremendously over the next upcoming hours into the morning hours, as that frontal system will be moving through, bringing torrential rainfall, possibly some flash flooding and some hail along with it. Here are those winds coming out of the Gulf, really driving those moisture conditions, and with that high pressure system that's actually off north of this system, it's actually bringing in those cooler conditions and those lower dew points. So that mixture, along with this moisture from the Gulf, is really driving this thunderstorm, creating that contrast in dew points, which really spikes up the intensity of those thunderstorms. And zooming in towards the satellite and radar, not a cloud in sight, like Evan said. We can start to see those clouds move into the viewing area as that frontal system persists on its way. So for the futurecast is that at 11:30 tonight, no clouds in the area. Moving into Friday morning at 5 a.m., we can expect some clouds to start to move in. Then about 9:15 is really when this squall line is going to be moving through. So when people are out on their way to work, we advise you to take necessary precautions to avoid being stuck in any hazardous weather. And then as this futurecast plays out, tomorrow evening is going to be somewhat beautiful with a few clouds still in the area. We can expect storms tomorrow morning, waking up at 69 degrees with thunderstorms coming through the area, and then winds out of the south-southeast at 10 miles per hour. Again, looking into tomorrow morning, much of the Big Bend region is going to be expecting all of those thunderstorms that will be moving through. And then, look, again, we got thunderstorms still in the viewing area with our temperature here in Tallahassee capping off at 72 degrees. Here's our 7-day forecast. Tonight, we're going to be dipping down to 69 degrees, waking up with those showers. And then Saturday, look at that. We're waking up at 48 degrees with a high of 73, leaving our perfect Easter Sunday. And then look at that again. For the remainder of the week, we're going to have partly cloudy conditions with sunny skies and highs in the mid-80s. Sammy, look at that 7-day. What do you think?
I mean, what I'm very concerned about is going into Friday morning, there's chances of severe thunderstorms and even possible tornadoes.
Yeah, that is definitely a huge threat for the majority of the southeast and parts of the Midwest as we continue on with our Thursday afternoon into our Friday morning.
And what's especially dangerous about this too is that overnight you can't, it's hard to spot these things like tornadoes in the sky. If you see a funnel cloud, they're very hard to see. Most likely it would be radar indicated if there was a tornado.
Yeah, the
If there were to be.
visibility with nighttime tornadoes is definitely a huge threat for the majority of the southeast going into the later hours of tonight. So why don't we go over some of the watches and warnings, the differences between those two things?
Yeah, so we are actually extending into the watch area for parts of Florida now, into the Panhandle. So a watch are conditions that are favorable for tornadoes to form during the next several hours, meaning overnight tonight.
Yeah, and a warning is actually confirmed rotation by the radar. That means a tornado could potentially be on the ground at that given moment. So you do want to take precautions and do take shelter immediately.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you are out and about, just keep aware. Make sure you have your phone alert set up, you're watching the news nearby, or you have a radar or a radio handy, not a radar handy. It's okay if you don't have that.
Yeah.
But this is something to take care of because we do have that serious threat going into the early morning hours.
Yeah, we do want to keep everyone safe, and for more of those safety tips, we're going to send things over to the wall with Michael.
Yeah, thanks Parker and Sammy. Very useful info and safety tips for the next 12 to 18 hours. But once we get past those storms, Friday night's looking actually pretty good. Those clouds should be on the decrease, 65 degrees, and honestly a little cool compared to the last few nights, back to where it was at the beginning of the work week. And now next graphic, the Radar Cup, the third annual Radar Cup. We have this every semester, third semester in a row, where our FSU weather golf fanatics join. Basically, it's a golf outing, big golf outing. So you can see 8 a.m. on Saturday, sunny skies, a little chilly at 50 degrees. Should warm up gradually to the middle 60s by noon. And once we really finish our Radar Cup at around 4 p.m., 3 p.m. we'll be at 72 degrees. So very nice conditions for the third annual Radar Cup. And then as we go into Sunday, it is Easter weekend, and Easter's looking very good, but starting out cold at 46 degrees for your 9 a.m. And then at noon, we do warm up quickly with that drier air at 75 degrees, getting to a high of 80 degrees at 4 p.m. Your 3-day forecast shows you have to deal with the storms and severe weather Friday morning. We'll have that clearing trend Friday evening into Friday night. But Easter weekend looking very good with low 70s on Saturday, quite cool for this time of year, and around 80 degrees on Sunday. But notice the lows Saturday morning and Sunday morning in the upper 40s, so a really chilly one out there for Easter weekend. Now your futurecast shows you that line of storms moving through Friday afternoon. Have a little lingering cloud cover and some showers in the evening hours, but it will clear out overnight Friday, leading to mostly sunny skies, honestly, for your majority of Easter weekend, Saturday into Sunday. So perfect conditions for Easter once again. Now we're going to send it off to Jake with a look at our Doak Campbell Stadium cam.
Well, better days are ahead, as you're saying, Michael, but first we're going to break down just one more time what to expect tonight into tomorrow. Of course, for now, things are all smiles out there. Still looking like a beautiful night out there at Doak Campbell Stadium. Temperatures still very warm. We're climbing into those lower 80s earlier on in the day. Those temps should cool off a little bit here, but that sunshine is sticking around for the rest of the night before those clouds will start to build overnight into our area. Not really much to speak of right now in the satellite and radar, although off to our west, the tornado watch has extended as far east as Okaloosa County, so areas like Destin and Fort Walton Beach now are in a tornado watch until 11 p.m. Central Time, again midnight Eastern here, and that's associated with this line of storms that is stretching all the way down from the Memphis metro all the way through the northern Gulf of Mexico here. We see those watches just popping up now, and a very impressive bow echo structure moving just to the south of Starkville, Mississippi, an area which saw a tornado move through that area just over the weekend here. So not exactly areas that are looking for any sorts of nasty weather anytime soon. Unfortunately, it is happening again in those spots. For us, though, temperatures right around 80 degrees. The sunshine sticking around for most of the region here. Some increasing clouds near the coast, and if we look off towards Perry at 80 degrees. Valdosta very warm at 84 here. And one advantage, of course, with this overnight sort of severe weather timing is the decreased instability that we should see into the early morning hours. Although, again, the timing will really adjust how that evolves. As far as the dew points are concerned, these are mostly in the lower 60s for much of the region. As you go up to the north away from the southerly flow off the Gulf of Mexico. Values are slightly lower, but those values will build as that southerly flow increases in magnitude and that front really begins to approach a little bit further. We have more of that convergence once that rainfall starts to work its way into the region. So again, for the futurecast here, for the rest of the night, partly cloudy skies should be sticking around. Not really any much of a threat tonight if you're going to be getting out and about. Overnight is when we're going to start to look for the clouds to build as well as the potential for showers and storms to start moving into the region. We should see thunderstorms beginning to move into our viewing area before the sun comes up tomorrow morning. And again, this model is not exactly 100% on the timing of this rainfall. You see it coming in at about 9:30 here, but it could be any time, I would say about sunrise, give or take here. Anytime in that 6 to 10 a.m. window is when you should be on the lookout here. So it could affect that morning commute. Be sure to take that into account if you're going to be out and about heading to work or class tomorrow morning around Tallahassee. But again, by the evening hours, things should really be clearing out. Again, brighter days are going to be ahead for us, and even a brighter night tomorrow night with conditions really cooling down into the early portion of the weekend. As for tomorrow morning, again, this is our real hot spot for thunderstorms. 69 degrees is going to be our low in Tallahassee, 70 in St. Marks. Very warm, very muggy, as we would come to expect. And again, the primary threat with this line of storms is going to be damaging wind gusts, although an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. And that front will come through in a big way in the afternoon and drop those temperatures substantially into the overnight hours. Again, for the day planner, should start to see some clearing conditions by late afternoon. And for that 7-day forecast, temperatures cooling down substantially as we go in towards especially Saturday night into Sunday morning, with a low of 44 degrees. Easter looking just fantastic at 80 before those temperatures begin to rebound, as of course we're going away from spring and transitioning just a little bit into those summertime conditions for us in Tallahassee. So again, looking like it's going to be better for the early part of next week, but of course we're going to have to get through tonight and tomorrow to get there.
Yes, definitely. And we can't really stress enough really how important these tornadoes and the severe weather is in our area for tomorrow morning. Last week was a little bit of false alarm in a way, but definitely be on the lookout tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we still got a 53-mile-per-hour gust with that line that came through on Sunday. Thankfully, it wasn't any sorts of widespread power outages, and of course, it was a bit of a less threatening scenario given that it was in the middle of the day here. So again, if we can get that sun to come up for a couple of hours before this line comes through, could heighten that instability just a little bit here and maybe contribute to some slightly stronger storms in the region. Although again, this thing is going to really hold together here, and it's going to be a pretty nasty morning for you guys. So once again, obviously, stay weather aware for the next 24 hours for sure.
Definitely, and please stay commuted with any type of weather source that you have. Make sure you have your supplies ready for anything that could possibly happen tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and should conditions deteriorate over the next 12 hours, again, we'll be all over social media. We could be going wall to wall in the early morning hours. You can follow us on Twitter. We'll be active there, twitter.com/FSUweather.
And like us on Facebook. We have our Facebook page at fsu.weather.
And again, should we be going live in the morning, you can watch us live on YouTube at our channel, youtube.com/FSUweather.
And then also follow us on Instagram. We'll be posting there.
Hopefully once that front clears through, we'll actually have some really nice sunsets to once again hype up. But for all of us here at FSU Weather, stay weather aware. Again, turn on those emergency alerts if you have not already done so.
Please be safe out there.
I'm meteorologist Jay Karstens.
And I'm meteorologist Evan Thomason. Have a great night.
We'll see you tomorrow.